Chrollo will soon have to face the most strange, powerful and weird Nen Beast that exists in Hunter x Hunter, a beast so powerful that it can't be wielded by a prince. However, it's the ideal partner for the king of Kakin. Hey guys, it's Ryugo here, and today I'm going to reveal the abilities of the most mysterious figure in the Succession War, someone that seems so unimportant, but is probably the most relevant character in the scheme of corrupt events. And that is the one character who could eat more than Sale Sale, which of course is the king of Kakin, Nasubi Hui Go Ro. But why make a video on him, I hear you ask? Well, with Chrollo on his way to try to steal the treasures of Kakin, there is a very high probability that a certain king might have a lot to say about it, so before that happens, he and you might wanna be informed of what he can do. After all, he did win his succession war, so this man should never be underestimated. But how can I, random YouTuber, know about his secret abilities? Well, you see, Nen is all about the mind, and with the Nen Beasts I'll reflect different parts of the prince's character, so the first thing we need to do is analyze his character and appearances. Nasubi Hoi Go Ro is the current king of the Kakin Empire. With 8 wives and 14 children, he presents himself as a very traditional man with a very Machiavellian mindset. He seems cold-blooded, not having issue neither making his sons kill each other nor ordering the murder of his brothers. Analyzing all his appearances, most of them don't contribute too much to our discussion, with him serving more as an exposition machine most of the time. However, there are a few moments that reveal a lot about his character. The first moment is when he announces to the world that the Kakin Empire is going to the Dark Continent. Take a look at the speech. It's very calculating, exciting the world so much to the point that if even the V5 and the Hunter Association were to oppose them, public support will still be in his favor. The next moment is when Hulkenberg tried to kill him. He just shrugs it off as a teenage angst and taking opportunity to encourage him to participate in the ritual. And finally, it's not a moment, but look at the way that Black Whale is constructed. It's divided in tiers depending on the class of the person in question. With Tier 5 existing below the sewers, there is no evidence to assume that Nasubi divided Kakin into a class system, but he did nothing to abolish it either. I draw your mind to these moments specifically because all of these mirror the princes in different ways. He has the same detachment that Benjamin has, willing to order the assassination or at least being okay with the assassination of his brothers and make his sons kill each other. The same promiscuity and luxury that Prince Sale Sale displayed, having almost 14 children with different women, and probably he has even more that we don't know about. The whole spiel about going to the Dark Continent is just a trap to get public opinion in his favor, just like Lazarus would do, and he has a very classist way of looking at people, just like Tsureidnik. And this one is especially important because Tsureidnik is the prince we know better, with his Nen Beasts reflecting how he sees women. Despite the hate and misogyny, he still wants to use them, making his beast a monstrous horse creature with exaggerated femininity. The large breasts with the spikes and the high heels seems uncomfortable as hell. This is important because Tsureidnik sees women as trash, but they can still be useful trash. So if we apply the same logic to the beast reflecting the user's personality, then Nasubi goes from a jolly old man to the most deprived character Togashi has ever created. It's a human spider covered in breasts and hair with overall vaginal shape. Kakin laws might not make a distinction in gender, but through the way his Nen Beasts look, our king sure seems like it does. But now, with everything in mind, there is still one question remaining. What is his ability? Well, because a beast doesn't necessarily reflect all of the personality, I think there's space for a multiple choice, and I came up with 3 abilities that might suit our king. And by the way, I'm warning you now that these abilities might get pretty gross, but again, this is Nasubi we're talking about. But before that, you already know the kick. For the love of God, please subscribe if you like the content, because if you like the video thus far, I'm pretty sure you're going to like the next one, but more on that later. Going back to our king, let's start off with a very simple ability. First off is a Conjuration type based on the webs the thing seems to have. It will employ conjured webs in arrays around him, and you might think that it just traps its targets there, but this is Hunter x Hunter and we have to overcomplicate everything. Once the webs have been set, they would be almost invisible to the use of something like in, and if you step on the web and fulfill a certain condition, then you would be trapped in place. The condition would be something like, have ill intent towards Prince Nasubi, and once you're trapped, you would be trapped for a limited period of time, maybe something like 1 to 5 minutes. That might seem small, but think about it. Being trapped basically proved that you destroyed or at least thought of trying to hurt Nasubi, basically proving that you're his enemy, and because I imagine that this trap would mostly be set around places that he would frequent a lot, and so would his bodyguards, and now 1 to 5 minutes might seem like an eternity. Granted, you would be trapped in place, making it so you couldn't move, but you still could defend yourself, even if awkwardly. Also, if you use Zetsu before touching them, then you're not affected by the webs, because of without aura there is no way for the spider to read. There is no way for the spider to read your intentions. I like this one a lot, because it speaks to Nasubi's devious nature, but also to his sloth. Dude is built like he eats Snorlax for lunch. I wouldn't say he was part of Kakin's basketball league. Does Kakin have a basketball league? The second is a transmutation / manipulation ability, and step up because it's about to get gross. This one speaks to the more motherly side of the beast, being covered in breasts and all. And you know what breasts do? They lactate. This ability would pour a cup of milk once every 24 hours with different effects. Again, the effect would be depending on the one who drinks it. I imagine it would rely on your loyalty towards Nasubi. For example, if you're loyal to him, then it will have various beneficial effects like resting, healing, or even increased aura expertise. On the other hand, if you're an enemy of Nasubi, then it will have the opposite effect, slightly poison you, increase tiredness, and make your aura weaker in general. Again, the effect would be dependent on your level of loyalty / animosity towards Nasubi. The most loyal ones would get the biggest buff, while outright killing any hidden assassins that might possibly have. Don't ask me what the milk tastes like. Again, this speaks to the way Nasubi sees women, mothers in specific. The law that the princes are sons of the official queens, rather than being the offspring of the king, creates a perfect opportunity for people to insert their offspring in the loyal line, making the queens more of a tool for political maneuver than anything else. If you ask me, I think Nasubi is aware of Beyond's child, the little cuckold. And finally, the last ability, an Emission type, that again looks at the way Nasubi sees woman, but more of in a grotesque way, reducing a woman to simply a birthing machine. That's why his last ability is a creation, or rather giving birth to various beasts, almost like Babyface from Golden Wind. These Nen Beasts don't have any unique Hatsu, but they can quickly learn all the other principles, excluding Zetsu for obvious reasons, and would only be alive for a certain period of time. They would be extremely loyal towards Nasubi and even have expertise in a specific area, like, rather than being good at fighting, they would be good at self-defense maneuvers. I don't have any more restrictions to this ability, but I imagine it would have been really costly or even really cost a ton of aura per birth. And again, this speaks to Nasubi's twisted way of looking at the world. For a man to go as far as to corrupt something as pure as motherhood really speaks to how twisted he is. Nothing is sacred to this man, not motherhood, not his sons, not himself. The only thing that matters is Kakin. There is no bound that the man won't cross in order to make sure it remains standing. So, what do you think? Will Nasubi go on to face Chrollo? And if so, which one of these abilities will he use against the head of the spider? Leave your comments down below, and by the way, next week we are going to give a beast to a different person, and you might look out because that beast might literally lead to the destruction of the whole world. Thank you for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.